Welcome to our channel, ladies and gentlemen. The countdown has begun and those who celebrate Christmas cannot wait. We have, I think, 72 hours to the D-Day. If you're celebrating Christmas, please remember to celebrate with the less fortunate in the society. Don't forget them. Let them not get the nice order of the delicacies in your home as they languish in hunger. Please remember them. Number two, allow me to request you that if you have to drink, please do it responsibly, because we have had tendencies of people who drinks too much during the festivities and they don't get back home alive. Some people drink and drive. So allow me to request you to drink responsibly and don't drink and drive. You can work with someone who is sober, who can drive you home. Number three, allow me again to request you to understand that the Kenya Kwanza team has really made life very difficult. So as you celebrate, remember January is here with us and children will be going back to school. People are preparing to take Form 1 back to school, and all the children, you all know that the cost of education has just become so exorbitant. So please, let us celebrate as we remember that there is life after Christmas, there is life after the new day. So let us do it responsibly. Having said that, ladies and gentlemen, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, the fourth president of the Republic of Kenya, is making certain moves that are really scaring the Kenya Kwanza administration. You know, ever since Uhuru jetted into the country, he announced categorically that he was not willing to join Rigathi Gachagu, because Rigathi had said that they would unite around William Samoei Ruto for 2027. But Uhuru is not interested, and that is why he said he is in Azimio to stay. Then Uhuru was seen with his mother consecrating the Baptist church in Shaweri. This was to demystify this fallacy that Uhuru, Raila and the brigade are antichrists. And then he was seen, all the two of them with his wife, when he went to kind of inspect the Karimenu Dam, a dam that began in his tenure, and it is now one of the mega projects in the Kenya Kwanza administration. Yesterday, Uhuru made an impromptu call to a church in Ruiru, and they talked and laughed very heartily, and you could see the love between Uhuru and the people, and he denoted 1 million Kenyan shillings to the elderly, and they really thanked Uhuru Kenyatta. Now, just a day after that impromptu phone call, Uhuru decided to celebrate an early Christmas with the children's homes in Kiambu and Nairobi. And Pauline Njoroge is reporting something. The former President Uhuru Kenyatta awarded Christmas gifts to orphans and other needy kids during his visit to several children's homes in Nairobi and Kiambu counties. Now, it continues to say, this is what Pauline was saying, President Uhuru Kenyatta yesterday presented Christmas gifts to children at various homes, including Children's Garden Home and School in Udhiru, Mama Fatuma Goodwill Children's Home, and Gatundu Children's Home. It is a season to make merry and to also share with others, Pauline said. Now, she continues to say that Christmas is a season when we remember the greatest gift God gave humanity in form of love through the birth of his only son, Jesus Christ. As we spend time with those we love, let us celebrate each other and remember to count our blessings. That's what was announced. So, ladies and gentlemen, the idea of visiting a children's home a day after donating 1 million Kenya shillings to the elderly is very significant. Uhuru is saying, I want to remember the elderly and the children in this needy season, in these times of festivity. You know, during the campaigns in 2022, William Samoei Ruto and Rigathi Gachagu, together with the Kenya Kwanza team, developed a fallacy and a narrative that was driven in the entire Mount Kenya, that they voted for Uhuru Kenyatta to the man in 2017, and then Uhuru Kenyatta abandoned them. And they claimed that Raila Amolo Odinga took their president away, and they have always claimed that Uhuru Kenyatta took all the development projects to Kisumu. And they have always said that Uhuru Kenyatta never loved them. You also understand that they have said that the Kenyatta family took away the land that was supposed to go to the Mau Mau families. So they have surrounded with Uhuru Kenyatta's family with a lot of malicious stories and maligning their names. So Uhuru Kenyatta's comeback is one that is going to expose the Kenya Kwanza team, because really the picture that was painted to the Mount Kenya fraternity is not the real picture, because we all know who Uhuru is. Let me ask you, if you compare the economic condition now and during Uhuru's time, which one is at least, because I'm not saying that Uhuru was perfect. I know life was not really bearable during Uhuru Kenyatta, but can you compare it to William Samoei Ruto? And the other question that people have always put forth, how do you think William Ruto would have maneuvered if Corona pandemic would have found him as the president? If he was the president, how do you think, where do you think he would have been? Because Uhuru Kenyatta came up with certain measures to cushion Kenyans who are really suffering. You remember the hotel industry was really shut down. In fact, people lost jobs, schools and everything. And I remember together with the governor, the then governor of the central bank, they came up with measures to reduce the interest rates for the period that people were not working, because they noted that people who had loans and were no longer working were not going to pay their loans. And even calling rates went down because the new Kenyans were suffering. Even after that, there was kazi kwa vijana and all these things. The way William Ruto is running the government, people are wondering, how would it have been? And Uhuru Kenyatta has resurfaced with a message through his messengers. The Jubilee Party is spreading one message that they were duped, and is telling them all is not lost. They should come back home to the Jubilee House so that they can prepare for 2027 to ensure that they redeem themselves and they kick away this government. But is this message sinking, ladies and gentlemen, as they preach, as they remind people that life is so difficult, and contrary to the fallacy that all the predicaments came from Uhuru regime, they are now revealing that it is not, and Kenyans are able to see for themselves that William Ruto is even a worse president. I want us to look at 3 reasons why this messaging is really, getting in and it sticks to the people's mind, because Uhuru Kenyatta seems to have, he's got some good advisors. One of the reasons why the message is sinking in Mount Kenya, and why people like Rigathi Gachagu, Kimani Ichung'wah and Ndindi Nyoro are scared, is because Uhuru knew very well that his name was being maligned for no reason. And so what did he do? He decided to take a sabbatical political leave. He retreated to the UK. Why? This was very important because it was going to expose William Ruto. It was going to show them that Uhuru was never the problem. After he stayed there for some months and Kenyans started crying, Uhuru was outside the picture, and they knew that the problem was William Ruto. Taxes were raised, everything just became a mayhem, and Uhuru came back. You remember the strategy, you retreat and you regroup. So he has regrouped, and you've seen the way he has come back in full swing. He's not letting Jubilee go. So the message is sinking because of for the mere reason that he took that period, that leave, so that he was not in the picture. You see, when he was not around, the Kenya Kwanza was confused. They didn't know who to blame again. Of course, they've continued to say, oh, it was Uhuru, but it's not really convincing. Uhuru waited until the church, the hustlers, the mamambogas started lamenting. You've seen people saying tumechoka na hii serikali, and then he came back. You do know why this is helping? If he was the one who had started the complaint about how Kenyans are suffering, they would have accused him of sabotaging William Samoei Ruto's government. Remember, they had said that Uhuru was funding Azimio rallies. So Uhuru waited until, people started complaining. You've seen what Reverend Wainaina is doing, and they're telling Ruto to the face, you misused the church, and now you have made a U-turn. You misused our youths. You told them they were hustlers, and now the cost of living is even much higher. The mama mbogas are complaining. So when Uhuru is now coming, it is not going to be seen as a man who is bitter, as a man who wants to sabotage. It is the Kenyans themselves who have started complaining, the Mount Kenya themselves. So Uhuru is coming as a savior. He's not coming as the person who initiated rebellion. The rebellion started, so he's joining them and is showing them these people are liars. This is why the message is sinking. The other reason why this message is sinking, ladies and gentlemen, is because Mount Kenya has been sidelined. These people said that Uhuru Kenyatta took all the projects to Kisumu. But for the period that William Ruto has been in power, you remember the mega project, the Mau Maua Road, that was supposed to be a super highway. It was stopped. And questions are being still asked, why was it stopped? Because it was a mega project. And when William Ruto goes to Central, there is nothing much he can do. He continues to relaunch roads that Uhuru had launched. So there is nothing new. And this is why this message is now sinking, because Kenyans and Mount Kenya fraternity have seen for themselves that it was a mere talk, it was hot air. So Uhuru is coming back at a time when Mount Kenya has been neglected. When he goes there, the only message that they have is to go to the church. They are given rice and meat. So it is sinking because their eyes are now open. They are asking, where are the projects? You told us that you loved us more than our son. You told us that our son had neglected us. So it is sinking because Mount Kenya has been neglected. The other reason why the message is sinking is because Gachagu has been subdued. Gachagu, people like Ndindi Nyoro, Kimani Ichung'wah, these people were elected, and they told Mount Kenya that they are the major shareholders in the government. But then they cannot speak when taxes are high, when the cost of living is high. There is no way they cannot criticize. They continue to dance with William Ruto as people continue to suffer. So people are asking, we are shareholders yet we are suffering, and the leaders whom we elected cannot speak on our behalf. They are not speaking about our problems. So Uhuru Kenyatta and the Jubilee are coming as people who have a solution. They are saying, we voted for the wrong man. We voted for William Ruto, he has neglected us. They don't care about us. They continue to tax us. Corruption is even at a higher level. So because Gachagu cannot speak, because Ndindi Nyoro and Kimani Ichung'wah cannot speak, we will speak for you. So the message is sinking because of that. The last one, ladies and gentlemen, the message is sinking because of Raila's ceasefire on Maandamano. You remember when Maandamano was, during the height of Maandamano, Uhuru was accused as the man who was funding it. And they had hidden themselves under Maandamano. People could not exactly see what is happening in the country. Everything was Maandamano. Raila is bad. Raila lost. Raila should accept. Raila this, Raila that. Now that Raila decided to have that ceasefire, it is the last arrow that pierced Rigathi Gachagua and the team, because they don't have anything to talk about. And Uhuru, as you can see, has decided to do his own things alone. He's not involving Raila Amolo Odinga. So these people have been cornered. All the excuses that they were using are no longer there. This message is sinking, and it is sinking deeper and deeper. And we now know that Uhuru Kenyatta really loved this nation. Uhuru Kenyatta still loves the nation. Uhuru loves Mount Kenya. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are coming from Mount Kenya, do you still believe that Uhuru neglected Mount Kenya? Do you still buy all the narratives that were perpetuated by the Kimani Ichung'wah team? And by the way, have you realized that they are not attacking Uhuru Kenyatta? They fear because Kenyans are suffering. If they try, there is going to be a big backlash. What do you think, ladies and gentlemen?